Go on, buddy. Choose an altcoin. You want that one? 5% gains. You could have had 45%.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Welcome back to Crypto Daily, the show where we only discuss finance in the most serious of ways. Today, we will be looking at coins such as that one, and that one. But first, let's discuss life post-fork. B2X signatories had more than 20 million custodial wallets, hundreds of millions of venture capitalism money, 85% of signaling, and they failed. We should let that sink in for a moment. They failed with so much infrastructure. So the wallets figure was particularly useless. Those wallets were held in trust for users, I'm quoting here, link below, whose opinions they never asked for. This is why Bitcoin is special. Unlike alts, there's no loyalty in alts whatsoever. I think that's harsh. Altcoiners have been jumping ship from one to others, eventually back to the original blockchain. Rather interestingly, nothing is actually stopping it. The chances of survival and to make a significant impact took a serious nosedive. The code is still available. The miners are still signaling. The B2X statement was a suspension and not outright cancellation by LG products. And I don't think Core are against the raising of the base block size in future if it's needed and if consensus is truly achieved. You see, one of the most important things regarding Bitcoin is its censorship resistance. This was one of the biggest attacks it's ever seen, and it shrugged it off. So the other attacks we've seen, Bitcoin Cash, for example, China banning 20% of the world's population, it shrugged them both off. So Bitcoin is very much a like it or love it scenario. Anything else is costly to your wallet. So for the future then, Bitcoin can focus on increasing adoption for SegWit. There are still major wallet providers out there. Coinbase looking at you who aren't yet supporting it. It does take a while though. I understand that. Maybe next year at some point we will see a majority of wallets supporting SegWit. Once the wallets support it, then transactions made between SegWit wallets will be SegWit transactions. These should be cheaper and more of them fitting into a block. It would be useful to not have a body for this. So Bitcoin is at 58% dominance, so it's fallen 2%. Look what that 2% has done for the altcoin markets. ARK holders, Vertcoin holders, Blocknet, Populus, IOTA, Digibyte, Walton, ADEX must be so happy with today's events. Salt owners probably are still a little bit salty. They raised too much money and killed demand, essentially. If you're falling right now, that sucks, man. I hope you're not like that dog picking the wrong altcoin. Electroneum's been falling a while. B3 coin was the highest earner at some point yesterday, so a correction, a fall was to be expected. ATM chain down, but always up and down, and Bitcoin up there for the lowest gainers. That's how you know. When you see Bitcoin as one of the biggest losers in a day, so no fork. I know we have everyday people like you and me, a little bit bummed about that, no B2X coins, but generally it is a good thing. Bitcoin will be stronger for it. And we have a scenario where we have two scenarios I see it. Either we have people start to cash out Bitcoin for fiat or for other coins, and Bitcoin's dominance is lowered, but then we could also have the opposite, where institutional money was waiting for who don't want to take risks, they've already got enough money, they don't need to, waiting for the result of the fork, and then getting in. So we could be seeing both happening right now. No doubt we are. But as good news as this is, part of me is a little bit disappointed that Bitcoin Cash isn't going to have another Bitcoin fork to compete against. That would have been funny to me. Another thing to keep in mind with regarding to Bitcoin's price, a lot of people potentially had their money locked up in hardware wallets, paper wallets, and they have still yet to send them to the exchange to sell. It's anyone's guess, really. Just something to keep in mind, though. Bitcoin isn't the fastest by a long shot. As people are quick to point out on ETH Trader, today, Ethereum has processed 50% more transactions than Bitcoin. Ethereum currently has 17 pending transactions, And Bitcoin has 45,000. It takes a sixth of a penny to move Ether in less than 20 seconds. That's a great sales pitch. The only thing is you're assuming that most of the market cares about transaction fees and speed. The point is, if people cared about speed, Litecoin would be number one. Ethereum would be number one. Dash would be number one. Or if the market really valued transaction fees, IOTA might be number one. Or Ethereum. But they're not. Point is, Bitcoin is. Because why? Logically analyze the situation, it's not used as a currency. People are fine to wait. People are okay with slow transactions. They're okay with fees to a degree. And most people can wait for Bitcoin upgrades. So then, the altcoin boom. Are we seeing that right now? Yeah, kind of. Although not truly at the expense of Bitcoin, which is interesting. It'll be interesting to see what continues to happen though. But yeah, Ethereum is taking off 10% in the last 24 hours, 330 about to hit. So you can't be saying this about Ethereum anymore, which is good for Ether holders. I felt like the longer it stays at 300, the more memes come out, the more damaging that's going to be because more people will get accustomed to it. There's a thing about memes where the more you hear something, the more chance there is of you believing it. It's like a scientific fact. People keep telling you Ether's not moving from 300. Well, then you might start to think that it might not. And then you see movements like this and think, wow, Ethereum's really expensive today. I'm not going to buy in. So I think if it hit 350, that would be an important psychological barrier to break for many ETH holders or ETH potential investors. How some have profited from the Bitcoin fork. Announce it. Create futures for it. Cancel. Look at that for a dive. I haven't seen that kind of a dive in a long time. But what's interesting is there are some people buying it. There was a support level. It's currently at 3%, nearly 4% of a Bitcoin's actual value. You can buy them on HitBTC at the moment for Tether and for Bitcoin and for Ethereum. The reason people are buying it is because the fork could still happen. Like I say, though, the chances of it doing anything significant in the market are vastly reduced, but it could still happen. But I just don't see the support from the major exchanges anymore. So how can you profit off of this fork? Well, if you bought Vertcoin yesterday, you would have been very happy. Let me look at some coins I keep hearing about. Request Network. So Request Network is a decentralized network for payment requests. They've got some good screenshots of how it would work. In my mind, the demand, the use isn't there yet at all. Like I say, I don't feel the most of cryptocurrency users are using crypto as a currency. One day, for sure, platforms like this will be useful. So what we're having now is FOMO. I want to be there. I want to be the first to adopt. Or I want to change it for more Bitcoin eventually. Let's be honest, that's more realistic. I had a look at No Limit Coin today, and I was rather surprised when I saw this new website. It's got everything you'd want. Let's have a look at the white paper. Looks pretty legit. This is super important. The states that the company is legal in to operate in the US. This is kind of a hard thing to do. A lot of states have blocked fantasy sports, and they're processing in blue, green, they're approved. I'm going to get sidetracked if I start talking about this, but I'm probably one of the most pessimistic crypto fanatics you could find. I love cryptocurrency. I think it's the future. Yet I see a ton of altcoins having no greater purpose than being turned into more Bitcoin one day because it's too early for most of this stuff. With that said, however, there are a few projects that are price irrelevant, that are really... Actually, you know what? Let me address this. Am I paid to say this? Have I been paid to show this new website, which I believe came out today? I haven't seen it before. Need to check the Slack. Was I paid to go and see them in California? Well, Raphael did pay for dinner. But I didn't know he was going to do that beforehand. So the question's funny to me. In case it's not obvious, I got into No Limit Coin early. I made my second or third video was showing No Limit Coin, why I thought it was a good purchase. It was 3 cents at the time. So it's not like I haven't been upfront about it. I actually don't do sponsored content, so I've never actually been paid to do a video about No Limit Coin. It's just a project that I believe in. Here's the thing. This website, this platform, we showed the platform in the video. Down. Here, this one, showed the UI. Oh yeah, and you can buy No Limit Coin with Visa and MasterCard shortly through their website. That's so rare. How many coins do you know can do that? I have friends, real life friends, people that I can touch the faces of. You know, they would find that a little bit weird, but I could if I wanted to, that are using this platform today. They're not crypto enthusiasts. I gave them some No Limit Coin, told them this is a good place to play fantasy sports, and they like it and they're doing it. So the only thing that this requires to go up is a rising popularity of cryptocurrencies. Because think about it. Do you think DraftKings or FanDuel or any other big fantasy sports platform allows you to play using Bitcoin or Litecoin? The answer to that is no. This is the world's first. Big first mover advantage. Even if other platforms get around the legality of using cryptocurrencies, they might introduce their own coin, or they might charge higher fees than No Limit Coin's charging. While I got in early, I haven't sold any of it. I don't want to. I think this has got such a bright future. If you look at fantasy sports, the market is taking on. It's crazy. I'll move on. Isaac, RLC, I keep hearing about this. 0x, Golem. But where are the gains? Where are the gains? When you look at gains, you look at market cap realistically. At least that's what I do. Circulating supply is important to a degree. The most important is percentage gains. I look at market cap. The lower the better. Generally, the more potential for returns. This is why we're seeing things like Ethereum not just like explode anymore, because I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it will. But 31 billion is very high. The chance of returns are a lot lower. Obsidian, I mean, be very careful with this. It's not a recommendation for any of this. $6 million market cap. Private messages. Masternodes. Modem. The New Walton, maybe its younger cousin. A market cap of 38 million. Raiden Network token, an unknown market cap right now, unknown what is circulating. If it's going by the total supply, then we'd have over 100 million market cap. 1.3 million. 1.37 million. A few things to understand about the Raiden token network. They had a lot of bad press. A lot of people didn't like the fact that what was essentially an Ethereum network upgrade was running their own ICO for some reason. It wasn't introduced or it wasn't endorsed by Vitalik. He offered to fund them rather than raise an ICO, but they wanted to do the ICO. The fundraiser itself had a Dutch auction system, so it was trying to lower the amount of people that got in, as well as spending no money on advertising whatsoever. So a lot of people don't know this token even exists yet. They will probably shortly. Raiden's use case is that it's used to pay for auxiliaries on the Ethereum network. This has led to the argument that why couldn't you just pay for those people using Ether instead? And this is perfectly valid. There are good write-ups about why you might prefer to use the Raiden token. This is about as good as it gets. Have a read of this. Get a feel if this is something you'd be interested in. Not a recommendation. I saw an article earlier. I can't find it now. If I find it, I'll try and link it. 1/3 of millennials, that's 18 to 36-year-olds, and makes up quite a large audience of you guys are between those ages. 1/3 of them would prefer to own Bitcoin and own stocks. And that's a great statistic. But then you think about 2/3 of them would rather to own stocks. But something to think about. If everybody liked Bitcoin as much as you or I do, then we wouldn't be early adopters. The returns wouldn't be there. Those gains.